Today, I'd like to talk about another one of the templates presented in the Dresden Files RPG, today's topic being the Knight of a Faerie Court. Without any other preamble, let's just jump right into it with the lore. In the Dresden Files novels, there are two courts of fairies, summer and winter. Each court is allowed to designate one mortal champion to be their knight. So why would they do that if the fairy courts are very, very, very powerful heavy hitters in the supernatural community? Well, fairies and other supernatural creatures are bound to their natures, their instincts. They're bound to act in a specific way, and they cannot break that. Whereas mortals can act outside of their nature, and they can do things like, say, lie. Fairies can't do that. So in exchange for their service, the courts will grant a human power. So from a game perspective, this is a really, really interesting template because there can only be one of each court. In fact, as far as musts go, your high concept must be Summer Knight or Winter Knight. And what's really interesting is they specifically put in that once you do that, no other character in the game may have that same high concept. So in addition to that really weird high concept thing, you also get their powers. You have to select either Seelie or Unseelie magic, depending on whether you're in the summer or winter court, respectively, and marked by power. Now, I've already talked about what marked by power does in the Emissary of Power video, but to catch you up, basically what marked by power does is it forces your character to have made a bargain with a supernatural being at some point, in this case, one of the queens of the fairy courts. And it's a really interesting supernatural power because it ties this being into your character and story really, really thoroughly, and it presents the GM with plenty of opportunities to use that against you, and in some cases for you. Like, if you're in a whole lot of trouble, you might be able to invoke your high concept of Summer Knight or Winter Knight to ask the GM to have some fairies intervene on your behalf because they can't afford to lose their knight. On the other hand, though, it means that you're going to be running missions for the courts, and you have to do what they say. You will not like the consequences of breaking your oath. So it's a really heavy balancing act. For GMs, again, Emissary of Power, which is basically what this template is. It's a much more specific Emissary of Power. Really, really, really understand what your version of the fairy courts want from this player character. Why did they make them a knight to begin with, and what kinds of problems are they going to be facing, even if the game they're playing is totally unrelated. In fact, it might even become a major hindrance because the party wants to do something, but this one player character can't because Mab or Titania told him no. So it's really interesting, provides a lot of compels as well, so just throwing fate points at players to have them act in a specific way. So there's not really any other specific powers or abilities you need. It does recommend a high conviction and discipline, but I don't really understand where that comes from outside of using the Seelie and Unseelie magic. So overall, I'd rate this one at about a 7 out of 14. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst. If you're playing in the Dresden Files established setting, having this template as a player character is really weird. And it's something that you'll want to consider very, very thoroughly before you and your player work out exactly what it is they're doing with the template in your game. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.